Cool. Looks like we're going to be recording. Alrighty. So, yes. And I guess, if you want to use the chat, just let me know. Has anyone ever done any LinkedIn training before? Is this your first ever training? Say yes or no in the chat. First time for Andrea. Good one. All right. Well, I'm going to try and answer everyone's questions. There's a few first time for people, so I'll just try and go gently through this. So if I feel like if I'm in over anyone's head, just let me know as well, because I've got this chat box open and I don't want to be. I want to be really valuable in this time. So you might have heard, a few people have saying that they've done a bit of training, and you might have heard, there's a little bit of conflicting advice, people getting confused about how to use LinkedIn, and what it comes down to is that they just don't actually do anything because they're not quite sure about it. So if that's you, that's okay. A lot of people have been concerned about coming across as too salesy or spammy, and other people think that you need big marketing budget to actually advertise on LinkedIn in order to penetrate the market and to start to attract clients. So that's actually not correct. If you think that the big branded, corporate level type of competitors or those management consulting firms, with their big budgets have got it worked out on how to use LinkedIn, then, you're in for a pleasant surprise. So they're still scrambling to make sense of how to use LinkedIn effectively as well. So I think that you're in the right place. There's still, for many, many industries, there's still a very large slice of the market that you can carve out for yourself. And my intention is for you to become known as like an industry favourite. So I want people, with your LinkedIn, you can do this. I want your name to be synonymous with your industry. So I know you've got a dream to grow your business, and I know you want to provide security for your family or for your employees. So I'm going to show you how to do that in this masterclass. So let's get started. I just wanted to say, firstly, there's a lot of people in this room who are actually business owners, or there are people who are their EAs or PAs or even VAs that are actually here to do the research for their boss or their CEO in order to report back. So if you can please just spend a second to get into the chat and let me know if what your role is within your company. If you're sort of the owner, that's good. Or if you are the VA or the PA or the EA doing the research, then please let me know. Yep, fabulous. Cool, that's great. Thank you. So we've got a lot of owners and a couple of the assistants. So that's good to know. Thanks, because I just want to make sure that I'm going to be showing you information that's relevant for you. So I'll keep it on par. So it's mostly for owners. So I'll pitch this mostly for the business owners, and then the VAs or the PAs can report back. This is basically, this video is about this masterclass is for generation, for lead generation for your business. So you don't have to put your name in, because this technology that I'm using, I can see your names. And if you want to let me know the industry, the category that you're part of, that would be awesome as well. So what industry are you from? Because I just want to see, I can start to use examples that pertain to your industry. Okay, finance, coaching, great, that's great. Leadership development, management consulting, excellent. This is my favourite industries, actually. So I'm really glad. And a lot of the examples and stories I'm going to be telling you are actually from those industries. So one of the best things that I want you to learn from this webinar is that I'm going to show you how to exponentially grow your business by firstly creating high quality content and then proactively reaching out to your prospective clients. And there's only one way to do this effectively, and it's through using the system that I'm going to describe to you in the next 60 to 90 minutes. So if you can turn off your distractions, you know, your phone, mine just went off, but I'm going to turn it on to mute, just so that you're going to really focus on the takeaways. You can have a pen and paper to so you can start creating maybe like a list of things to do. What I've found when I've been presenting this talk to people live is that they actually will sit there and they'll start to update their profile as they go. So if you're in that position that you can jump onto another computer, feel free to do that as well. So just let everyone know that for the next 90 minutes, you're not going to be able to get distracted because you really want to learn this stuff. So if you believe that LinkedIn marketing is going to be good for your business, then you're definitely in the right place. So I'll introduce myself so you know why I'm teaching this masterclass. Over the past 12 years of running my first business, Melbourne Resumes, I became passionate about digital marketing because it was the one thing that I did to build my business from zero, like just a thought in my head, to a healthy 6-figure business. Now, I studied everything like with search engine optimization, content marketing, website design, copywriting, and I implemented everything, all of the strategies and the tactics. And within a few years, I had to hire the staff to keep up with the demand of the business. So that was all going well. It was all going like clockwork. It all really still works today, thanks to like the smart systems that we've got in place and knowing my market. And because I have a great team of people, from there it gave me the idea of, you know, what else do I want to do? As entrepreneurs, we get a little bit bored. And I really loved helping other business owners be able to get the traction that I had got from my LinkedIn or from my online presence. I really loved helping business owners particularly to position themselves online so they were seen as the industry leader. And I did this a little bit, you know, through Melbourne Resumes. There was a few coaches and consultants who were coming through and they'd have to submit resumes for contract roles, but I could see the bigger picture. I could see that if they had a website and if they had their own really great LinkedIn presence, then they would become the go-to people. So that's how I created Perfect Boom. It was to specifically help these types of like coaches and consultants really leverage all of the hard work and so people recognised, you know, what they actually had achieved. And I loved the positioning piece on how to position them. So that's a little bit about me. And yeah, so basically I'm thinking that if your market is B2B or you know, B to corporate C, then you're in the right place. Especially, you know, if the decision maker is the CEO of small to medium-sized businesses, LinkedIn is where people are hanging out, like more and more. And I'll give you some really good stats later on in a minute. But most people go there, you know, 3 to 5 times a week, often when they're, I think, sitting on the couch after their dinner, you know, after their meal, they're sitting on the couch and they're scrolling through their feeds. So it works extremely well, particularly for, you know, professional service organisations. So, you know, those leadership and organisational management consulting, executive, you know, the travel manager, all of those. This is really a great place. I'm really glad that you're spending the time to check it out. So we've helped companies directly from IT, software, finance, insurance, sales trainers, marketing and branding in particular, and even image consulting. So they're all making a lot of headway through the LinkedIn system that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So it's a great vehicle. It's so underutilized. So the amount of referrals it's just going to be incredible when you actually start to implement this. Sometimes you'll have more referrals than what you can actually deal with. So that was the problem with a lot of our clients in the early days. They just weren't ready for the onslaught of inquiries. So I'm looking forward to sharing those. So let's get into it. And just as a general philosophy, the LinkedIn philosophy is that you are sowing the seeds for fast business development, but also long-term business growth. Unlike advertising, you put $1 into advertising and you might get clients from that advertising, but as soon as you stop advertising is when you stop getting the leads. With LinkedIn, if you create a good profile and create content and start reaching out to your prospective clients and referral partners, you'll find that these actions will lead to many, many opportunities, like a ripple effect for your future growth. So I personally think that the money is better spent on these LinkedIn strategies than because they're going to help you like today and tomorrow. So that's my personal opinion. I might be a bit biased, but it's just all about positioning and long-term growth. So now this is the interesting thing that not many people know. It's an interesting statistic, and that is that LinkedIn generates the highest visitor to lead conversion rate at 2.74%. And so that's almost 3 times as high than both Twitter and Facebook. So why is that so? Does anyone want to put in the chat why? Hazard a guess why people who go to LinkedIn end up becoming a lead at 2.74% more? More intentional. Exactly. I love it. Thanks, Robert. Anyone else? LinkedIn is a professional network. Yes, that's true. That's true, Kai. The thing is I guess when you think about it, people who actually look you up on LinkedIn have either been recommended or referred. And when they go there, there is an intention. They're looking at, they're doing their due diligence. And as Pearl's saying, they want to get to know you. It's business orientated. You're absolutely right. So LinkedIn is definitely the most effective social media platform for actually generating leads. So, if anyone's going to take the time to go to your LinkedIn profile, they are highly interested. They've got their brains switched on when they're going onto LinkedIn. They want to know what's going on in their industry. They want to be able to pick up on opportunities, and they're looking at ways to solve their biggest problems. So you're absolutely right. So when you're seen as someone who can help solve their problem, and this is where we're going to get into one of the strategies, they're definitely going to check you out on LinkedIn. So I want your profile to actually be written in a way that's going to turn these leads or prospective clients into people who are making an inquiry. So that's excellent. We'll go to a case study. So this is Darren. He's super talented as a branding strategist. He likes rebranding companies like well-funded startups or corporate organisations. And he wanted to grow his business to the next level. So Darren and I ended up having a chat, and he learned about the system that we're going to be talking about today. And this is all pretty foreign to him because I don't think he spent a lot of time on LinkedIn. He was struggling with, if he was going to be making the right decision because he was really unfamiliar with the whole territory. So, and to give you context, before he started with us, it was a critical time in his business. He couldn't afford to waste the time or the energy making the wrong decisions. So even though he was nervous, he knew he had to try something. But the issue was that he'd tried so many other, lead generation campaigns before without a lot of success. So, and he was wasting hard-earned money and the time. So he was he was very not sure, but he thought without clients he hasn't got a business. So he decided to bite the bullet and give it a go. So what we did with him, you can have a look. We updated his profile and we optimized it for search engine optimization, which is, I'll talk about that in the next segment. We created a few content pieces to really build his credibility. And then we started on the growth phase of the campaign, which meant that we connected him with his ideal type of client on the LinkedIn platform. So when these people were looking, getting the invitations, they would naturally be curious. They'd go back to his profile. Because his profile was written in a way that resonated with his target market, that in itself led to inquiries. So he ended up getting quite a few inquiries just in that reach, just in asking people to connect with him, which was awesome. That's what we sort of pitched for. But then, that was without that proactive outreach, which I'll talk about down the track in the webinar. That the proactive outreach component is where the rubber hits the road and you start getting that real traction. So he, after about 3 months of solid results, he actually compared the LinkedIn campaign with the Google AdWords campaign, and he said it was like chalk and cheese. The quality of the leads from LinkedIn were much higher and people were not price shopping. And I think that that's because, people had learned about him, they'd read his pieces, they'd seen his content, and it wasn't about the price. And, when people were going to Google AdWords, they were price conscious, like that was the driver. So it was really interesting, like the mindset of the people who he was attracting on LinkedIn was a little bit different than, someone who was received from a Google AdWords campaign. So he'd finally found a way to get in direct contact with hundreds of these decision makers every day. And now he's feeling like really confident because he's obviously reaching his revenue goals, and he's really focused on what he is good at, which is building great brands for really great companies without having to worry about the where he's going to get his next set of clients from. So I'm going to show you how this all works now. So this is where I'm going to show you my framework, and this is what I want you to actually think about doing in your content marketing, is actually showing a framework or a methodology. Now, just to give you the little tip on the side, it really helps to position you. So this is my framework, and it's something that we've generated over the last couple of years. I've created it from everything that I have read and studied and tried, so I'm going to just go over it now, and I'm happy to talk more about this. I'm actually going to offer you at the end of the webinar a chance to really work with me. It's like a 6-week coaching program where we delve right into each of these components. So but right now I'm going to talk to you about what's included so that you can even take action right now on how you're going to use LinkedIn. So the step 1 is the planning. And so before you do anything, obviously with any good plan or any good campaign, you need to plan. So what I want you to do right from the outset is decide who your target market is, as in decision maker, size of company, the industry, the company headcount, the geographic location is always a really good one. There's all of these different elements, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes anyway about how to drill down and use Sales Navigator to actually find these people. But if you've got an idea in your head who your target market is, then it's sort of super easy to find them. The next step in the planning phase is that we actually want to know what we're going to offer the prospective clients who we're going to reach out to. Has anyone heard of a lead magnet? Does anyone know what a lead magnet is? Where you basically, you offer something for free and entice them to either go to your website and read an article, or maybe even put their Yeah, so Irene knows, Deanna knows. There's a few people that already know what a lead magnet is. And you guys are obviously in the digital marketing. You know a little bit about that. That's it's basically where you offer something really small of value that's easy to consume and is highly valuable. So it really helps them generate a result within maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll talk about that in a little minute. And then when we've got that planning phase, it's all about how you want to differentiate yourself from your competitors, like your USP. Does anyone know what a USP stands for? You want to pop it in the chat? I just want to see how clued on you guys are with my marketing speak. Yes, everyone knows. That's great. Deanna knows, Irene knows. Yeah, so unique selling proposition. Alrighty, so once we've got that, then we move on to the positioning, and that's where we we actually update your LinkedIn profile and the company page so that when a prospective client looks you up, they will recognise you as a prominent leader within your industry straight away. So that's where we update your profile. The next step is to promote your brand, and this is where we want you to create some high quality content, which we'll go to in the webinar. I'm just going to give you an overview of it, for the framework in this couple of minutes. And we're going to want people to, from that content, we want them to be really interested in making the next step with you. So every piece of content needs a call to action. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And when you're creating this content and sharing it, it's not just your first degree connections, it's your second and your third degree connections who also see it. So this is one of the things I love about LinkedIn. So it's where people are hanging out, and it's so easy to get your information in front of them. Next step we've got is propagate, and I picked that word because it starts with a P, but what it really means is that we're going to be creating new clients, where we are cultivating new clients and new leads. So this is when the majority of your leads will actually start coming in, because this is where we're sending invitations to connect with your ideal type of clients. And then we're starting to develop rapport through the messaging, and also, ideally taking it off LinkedIn as soon as possible, because what real relationship is just an online relationship, right? So that's the next step, is to pursue. And that's where you say, when it feels like the right time, you want to ask them if they're interested in having a conversation with you. Or there's a couple of other different methods. Some people have an event, some people want offer a webinar like this, some people offer a strategy session. There's lots of different ways to entice your target market to not just be a connection with LinkedIn, and we'll be exploring that in a few minutes as well. So does that make sense, that framework? If you can just pop in the chat. Yeah, great. Cool. That's awesome. So let's get into the first strategy. So this is where we're going to look at your profile, and this is like the easy, low-hanging fruit. So for a lot of industries, you are going to get 3 to 10 leads a week when you actually optimize your profile. So now, before I started proactively using LinkedIn, I would occasionally look at my messages, and all I had were people, trying to sell me things, people I didn't know who were like random strangers. I felt frustrated and I just ignored these messages. Does anybody else have that experience with LinkedIn? Probably people who don't use it a hell of a lot. Yes. Yeah. So it's a really common problem, and I feel almost embarrassed to be associated with the fact that it does happen so much. And this is actually a good example of not what to do on LinkedIn. When you get these people who are literally treating you like a number and burning leads, burning opportunities, because they're just sending out those salesy messages that sound scripted. So, but I had heard from other people that LinkedIn was a good place for B2B companies to attract leads. So I researched what the best practices were, and I implemented a few that resonated with me. And the end result was that I actually got a few quick sales that are amounted to around $20,000 in revenue by following those strategies. And so from then I was absolutely hooked. Like, I found, because LinkedIn had my type of client on there, I found it to be a gold mine, and I wanted to see how I could, use it as a long-term strategy for my business. But I didn't want to come across as salesy like these other people. So I could see that people were treating people like numbers. And I didn't want to burn my reputation by sending out these types of messages. So I looked for other strategies. And now these strategies, they take a little bit longer in the process, but by the time I get to talk to my prospects, they're actually really warm to learning more about my services. So I combined a mixture of what I'd learned, and then I knew that the types of businesses that I wanted to serve would like my approach. So it was basically, being respectful to your connections, and actually be happy to develop a rapport and a relationship with them first. So the very first point in saying that is to update your profile. And now, to update your profile effectively, I want you to put your mind in that of your ideal type of client. So think about the best type of client you've had in the past, and think about his or her biggest frustrations and their fears. And think about what type of person or company they're looking for, like, i.e. someone like you, and what it's going to take to gain their trust. What type of content, what type of credibility do you need to show that you've got? What do you need to sort of articulate and really promote within what you've done, and the people you've served? What sort of information really stands out? If you want to write some notes just on this right now, just from out of the gate, that would be great. If you can write down what are some key pieces that you think that your target market need to know that aren't on your current LinkedIn profile. So I'll just give you. So yeah, Parth is asking, why us? And that is actually really good. So why would they choose you over your competition? And this is where we talk about the unique selling proposition. So and it could be your style of actually helping. So Partha, you might be like 101. There might be 101 accountants in like the postcode that you're working in, but I guess it's sort of like, what are you known for? What do you want to be known for? Christine's saying it's her effectiveness and the actual results that she gets. And I'm so glad, Chris, that you said that, because to get down to the nitty-gritty, at the end of the day, I think what everybody wants is results. So if your summary can actually lead with the results that you're giving, then that's a really great thing. That means that all of the fluff and the hype can just sort of be put aside. You can just state categorically how you've taken people from point A to point B. So that's really great. So the whole thing about when you're creating your profile, and we're going to go over it in a second, is to be thinking about that song, how to be irresistible to your target market. So does anyone remember this song? I couldn't help myself putting this slide in. Yeah, so just think about the song, Robert Palmer, and all those girls dancing and swaying, and think, how do I be irresistible? How do I be irresistible? And then put that in there. So I'm going to show you some information in a sec on how to do that. Yeah, so Devon's talking about she works in a bit of a dodgy space with her target market. Like they don't know who to trust, because a lot of people are shysters. So Devon, you definitely do need to have testimonials or proof that show clearly that you're not one of those types of people. So that's a great thing. So that's going to be the key point that you'll talk about in your summary section and also in your content that we're going to be talking about in a minute. But yep, spot on. That's really cool. So I'm going to show you how to be irresistible through your LinkedIn profile. Now, the first thing is you've got the background image. So this image is something that it's like the best. Talk about Devon in property. This is the best real estate that you can have on your LinkedIn profile. So this is where, has anyone ever spoken on a stage and they've got a photo like this that they can put up? Just pop in yes or no. Because that's going to be like the photo that you do put up. If you don't, then I'll show you other. Yes, great. I've got some people that have come in. Perfect. So if you don't, Diana, that's no problem. But that's just, I just thought out of the gate, if you did have that, then that would be great. If you don't, I'll show you some other examples in a second. So this is prime real estate. So you want positioning. Like positioning is the word of the day. How do I position myself as the industry favourite? People who really want to work with me. And that, you know, being you know, that whole thing of social proof when you're on a stage, it means pretty much word's gotten around that you're pretty good and you're worth having on a stage. So that's why I said that. But I'll show you another way in a second. With the photo is another really important one. And it means, like, this is a really funny stat, but you have to show your teeth ideally in your photo. Does anyone know why? There's a stat about it. It's really interesting. People, yeah, honesty, that's good. People who show, the photos that show teeth, yes, it's about trust, Helen's saying. There's a 20% higher conversion rate on the people who make an inquiry versus people who don't show the teeth and have a closed mouth when they're smiling. How about that? So that's why I say to everyone, if you can, like if you feel comfortable, because I know some people don't really like their teeth, but if you're sort of sitting on the fence, then put the, make sure that you have a nice smile. And there's lots of photographers out there who are doing it. So, and Helen's saying that she's got teeth showing in her photo, so that's fantastic. The other side of the coin is that you look at the background in the photo and you don't really want a messy background. You want to be able to have people's eyes on you and not to be, like you don't want a detailed background. And ideally, you really want to be able to see the whites in your eyes. So this is a little bit small. Like I should probably zoom that in a little bit, but the others that I'm going to show you in a sec are better, actually. So I'll show you that. And the other parts of a good profile up around here that we're talking about is the headlines. So you've got there's keywords in here. And it actually helps people understand what you do. So this whole little template of I help, and then you insert the target market, and then use and then describe what you do, and then the end result. So that is a perfect little formula. You've only got 120 characters though, so you've got to be really short and sharp with your wording. The other thing that you might want to do if you've got the amount of space is to use these fabulous looking symbols. There's heaps of symbols you can use, and you can divide it up. And I'll show you, I'll tell you why these symbols help your profile stand out. So if someone's searching for, say, an accountant in Melbourne and there's like 50 of them that come up, your profile, if you've got a good photo, you've got a well-structured headline with great symbols, the symbols actually make your listing in that search result stick out a mile. So that's why I want you to use the symbols. And you can just copy and paste these. And Devon's asking if she can use emojis, and I wouldn't use emojis on LinkedIn, especially in your headline, but I'd use these like really fat, bold, dark symbols. You can use ones that look light, but I would go for the real heavy ones because they help make your profile pop. And the only way to do them is to copy and paste off other people's profiles, because or you can just Google. There's a lady in there's a lady who like a few years ago I think her name's Bree, did a post and she's shown like 150 different symbols you can use. So just Google LinkedIn Unicode symbols if you want to grab the whole list. Okay, and then the last one obviously is we have the location. And what else are we going? We've got, and then we've got actually the speaker. I'll tell you about, if you want to do speaking, if you put the word speaker in your headline, you'll actually attract more speaking gigs, because this section of your profile is highly search engine optimized. So that, yeah, if someone's searching for a speaker, for example, and you've got speaker in yours, your profile is likely to show up. So even if you don't do speaking at the moment, but you want to, pop the word in the speaker, and then maybe in the further on down in your profile, you might want to talk about the top 3 topics that you can talk about. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. Now, this is just below. I just wanted to show you in the summary section. You can, if you haven't connected up with me on LinkedIn, please connect up with me. Send me a connection, and if you can, then you can copy and paste all these codes, because it's really good to have lots of white space, and it's good to, like, if you can read my summary section. We won't have time to do the nitty-gritty of all of this today, but just have a look and feel it. I'm using first language, like for the first person, so I'm not talking about myself in the third person. It actually helps with, it's proven again, direct response copywriting. When you are trying to build rapport with someone, if you start talking about yourself in the third person, it just creates this disconnect, so you don't build that rapport as easily. So that's why you use the I words and the me, the we and the me. And then at the end of every section of your profile, I would love you to put a call to action. So my one is the 20-point LinkedIn profile checklist. And for there, people actually get that in another section that I'll describe to in a sec. But yeah, just make it easy for people to contact you. So this is where you put in your phone number, your email, and your website. And just while we're here, this media section, you say I've got 19, there's 19 like little video clips in there. So I've repurposed them all from my blog and from my YouTube channel and from everywhere, and I've popped them on there. So all you need to do is just pop the URL in, and it'll just upload it for you. It's really cool. And this is where you can put your frameworks or your infographics or, great diagrams that help you be positioned as a thought leader, so your prospective clients can see pretty much straight away that you know what you're talking about and you've got structure behind your IP. Does that make sense? So I'm going to show you another one. So this guy doesn't have, he hasn't spoken on stage, so we used his his logo up there, so that's a good thing. And you see Andrew's got a really great genuine smile, and I really love that, because that'll help him build rapport. And he's used keywords in his headline, and his summary is actually telling his prospective clients about what he does and how he helps his clients. So it's really focused on how he helps his clients, being irresistible to his market. And then we've got George, and he is a super smart guy. He has used his headline. He's got all these awesome symbols, and he's used his headline to actually have his call to action. So this has actually generated leads for him. So he actually says a free insurance audit available. So that's really great. And the first 2 lines, he's showing people how he helps them. because he's all about quality. He knows for a fact that most people shop on price for insurance, and he wants people to realise that unless you ever actually want to use your insurance, you're best off doing a better job with getting the right type of insurance. So that's what his angle is on his profile. And he's used his brand colours. He's got, get a free quote, which is fantastic. And he's got his numbers in there, his logo. So there's lots of different ways. You can be really creative with the background. And there's a I don't know if anyone's heard of Canva. I'll see if I can put it in there. Canva is if you want to create your own. Canva.com. There we go. That is hang on, that went private. Sorry to everyone. Here we go. I'll put it into the chat. Canva is like a tool that you can use to create these backgrounds. So it's say, give me a LinkedIn profile background, and it'll give it in the perfect dimension. All right, we'll move on. So this is strategy number 2, and this is how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and automation tools to actually put your marketing on autopilot. So this is where we're going to roll up the sleeves and start to pick up the tools that we've been given for our LinkedIn marketing. So now my old mindset was that I didn't really know, a lot about LinkedIn. I just saw people were spamming. I found the platform to be a bit clunky. Has anyone felt that the platform is still fairly clunky and not very user-friendly? Like, we're just going to call a spade. Just have to work with it. But this was the biggest reasons why I had to, I just ignored the platform for a very, very long time. And but when I realised that it could grow my business, I decided, okay, we're going to look past the less than attractive interface and actually see what it can do. And I gave it a really hot go. So even though it's not the easiest platform, I agree, Facebook is good, and there's other ways. But LinkedIn, because the target market is on there and they've got their business cap on when they are in LinkedIn, I found that I just started using it on a daily basis. I was growing my connections with my ideal target market. I was having conversations through the messaging. I was sharing great content, which I'll talk about in a little minute. And I was building connections with people who were just so cool, like in their industry. I liked what they did. I liked what they said. I was learning from them, reading from their posts. So I just found it, I looked over the less than attractive, sort of ugly interface. And I really started to develop some really great referral partners, people who are asking me to come onto their stage for them. All these amazing opportunities like podcasting, things that I never even had on my radar just became available because I was positioning myself on LinkedIn. And this is what I want you to do as well. So you think you're there just to get the clients, that is the thing that's great to be focused on. But I can tell you that because you're doing this positioning piece on yourself, you're going to have more than just your clients be looking at you. You don't know. People might look for 6 months, 12 months before they reach out. But when they reach out, there's quite big opportunities. So I was doing all of this work, and I was finding myself like this lady doing, having to multitask and being very busy. But that was before I actually got some help, and I've got some fabulous assistants to help me. I've got my EA in Australia, Cassie, who's on this call at the moment. Hi, Cassie. And I've got a fabulous set of VAs in the Philippines, and actually they help us with people's LinkedIn clients, the actual done-for-you services. So they've got a list of things to do every day that are like a routine, like clockwork. They follow the exact process that I'm talking about as an overview in this webinar. So this is something like there's a couple of assistants on our web class now, and this is something that you can really do like clockwork for your business, for your boss, to help them grow that their following and their positioning and attract clients. So it wasn't an easy decision, like way back when it was just me. Is anyone on the call just that got themselves, they actually don't have an assistant or a VA to help them with all of the grunt work, all the admin, all the routine tasks? Yeah. Has anyone thought about getting a VA or an assistant, an EA or a PA? It's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. My God, I can't keep up with all these comments. Sorry. No, that's good. Well, this is something like you can do all these on your own. The tactics that I'm going to be showing you, you can do on your own. But if you've got, when you start to reach out to 50 people a day, you're going to have a big effect. You're going to be on calls with people. You're going to be answering emails. You'll be putting up quotes and proposals. And suddenly, in order to sort of double your business, you might need to get some help. So, but at the start, it was just me, and I spent a lot of time learning about the systems and learning about everything. And I got too much into the detail, and I wasn't growing my business. So that was where, I think that if you can think about hiring a VA or that sort of thing. Yeah, so Janine's saying that she's got an assistant now, and the extra headspace is awesome, and that's what I love. I can actually think, and I've got the time to be able to exponentially grow my business. Like I've got the time to create content with videos, to have conversations with great people, to actually strategize with my clients and have those awesome conversations, rather than doing all of the the dirty work in the software and etc. So so I basically learned that I shouldn't be doing everything. So I'm going to show you a little bit under the hood now on how it works, but I'm just going to put it out there, plant the seed. It'd be great for you to start thinking bigger picture of getting that help. And this is the sort of thing that can be outsourced to your assistant. So who's got Sales Navigator already? If you don't, you'll have to get it. And when you've got it, it'll be a little function in the top right-hand corner. Yeah. So who's got the Sales Navigator already? Just pop in the chat. That's good that you've got other help, Chris. All right. So no, not many people have got the Sales Navigator. All right. Well, what we'll do, Chris has got it, and most people don't. So Kai, Pearl, Andrea, Steve, no. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just watch my screen. So we're going to click on the Sales Navigator, and that's going to take us to another platform. And when you hover over the advanced function in here, then you will get taken to a search. So you're going to say search for leads. And you've got these criteria. So, sorry, how much is it? It was about $88 a month, I think. I think they've just put the price up, Janine, but it's definitely worth it for the amount of leads that you're going to get. And I suppose it depends on the cost. We'll talk about this in a sec, but it depends on if you're just selling like a $57 book, it's probably not the right platform. But if you are selling a program that's worth 8,000 or 10,000 plus, then the LinkedIn Sales Navigator becomes worth it. And Sales Navigator is better than Premium and Business Plus because it gives you all of these extra search results, and they're always changing this. So Helen and Janine, does this look similar to what you're getting? The bit that I love is the company headcount and a few of the other things. The company headcount is super important to my campaign and what a lot of their clients that I do too, because you want to know how big the company is. So I'll just show here. So when I did a search, for example, on accounting, and I can do a search like for second degree connections in Melbourne who are senior, or there's owner or CEO, who are in firms that are, around about 50 to 200, who are just perhaps new into the role. Then when we are doing the search results, and I'm just showing you, this is what we get. So I'm just going to step you through, and Partha, I'm just bear with me. I'm stepping you through the process here. So this is where you have the search results, and this is where you start looking at the photo. This is why it's so important when someone's doing a search result for you, that you have a good photo and you have clearly say what you do. So when they will click on the profile, you'll read their profile, you'll research it to say, is this the sort of person that fits into my target market? And then if you believe that they do, then you send a personalised message through a connection request. And so this is where you make, you make it personalised. And this is where you keep it short and sharp, like less than 300 words. And then you're going to write a thank you. Now, I've just created this little templated thank you message. And this is where I'm saying, this is where you say, thanks for accepting my connection request here on LinkedIn. I look forward to getting to know you and your business. I really hope that I can add value to you through our connection. This is just an example. So here's a little information about myself and what I do. So you can then insert how you help your clients. Or you can then insert a link or a blog post, like a blog post or a video or something like that, to really help build that rapport and help to show them that you're here to add value. And you could say something like, and how about you, John or Jane, what made you accept my connection request? You could say something like that if you like, if you're wanting to start a conversation. Is there any way I can assist you with any of the challenges you're facing in your business right now? Again, thanks for the connection. I look forward to hearing from you soon. So this person, this type of connection, is wanting to sort of get started straight away. They're motivated, because around about 3% of the population are ready to buy now. So she's just asking that little question, can I assist you in any challenges that you're facing right now? So that's one way to do it, but definitely, putting a link in or something like that. The thank you message is actually responsible for about 20% of leads, which it's so interesting. So if you can take the time, once you've connected with someone, to actually thank them for the connection, you'll find that you'll get leads just from that. So once they've connected with you, then you're going to share your content. Now, this is over several weeks, they'll see your name. So this is where the little headline is so important. They'll see your face, they'll see your name, and they'll see your little headline coming up. And this is where you need to create really great value. So this is where you have your these small tips and takeaways, like the pink box, are so popular at the moment, and they're actually outperforming the long articles and that sort of thing. So I would recommend sending this, and then after about the 3 to 4 week mark, then you start maybe sending a message asking if they want a conversation. Now, what a lot of people do, they make that mistake where they'll connect up with you and straight away they're out to sell you something. And so this is where the critical difference is. Does that make sense to everybody? So once you've got that, then what we're going to do is we're going to put it on autopilot, like most of it anyway. So after a few days of you connecting, you're going to then become pretty familiar with this process, and that's where you can get a marketing automation tool like one of them that you see on the screen. So I'll talk in a minute about the type of content. That's a good question, and we're going to talk about that in the next strategy. So just hold on for one sec. So most of these are Chrome extensions, and I like Duck Soup because it's actually been around the longest. It's about $20 a month, and it'll save you about, like, they'll all save you about an hour a day in sending connection requests. So it's a little Chrome extension that you can buy. You've got a free version you can try as well if you want to try that out. Has anyone used any of these tools before? Okay. Yeah, really good. Yeah, they're super awesome. So just be careful not to overuse them. So if you go from sort of like 0 to inviting 100 people a day, then LinkedIn's going to probably restrict your account. And so I'd start on the small side, maybe start with 10 or 20 a day, and then edge up, by increments of 10 or 20 until you get to, 100 a day. So by now, I hope that you're convinced that using, Sales Navigator and the online automation tools are going to be a great help for you or your assistant. It helps you become super productive in generating the leads for your company. So now I'm going to be talking about Pearl, the next strategy, which is going to be about the thought leadership and the content marketing. So this is where we're going to talk about how you're going to be seen as like the industry favourite when connecting or when competing with the big corporates. So it's about just creating like 2 or 3 pieces of content at the very least, so your prospects can actually see that you know what you're talking about, you've got some great content and you're worth having a chat with. So it can be like a video, it can be an article, it can be a PDF. Here are some examples that really, really work. So you can show a diagram of your framework, like I showed you mine just before. That works really well. And you pop this in the media section. Or you can do like a list of top 10 tips to help your target market achieve a small win. That would show that you're adding value, you're building that rapport. Or the other thing, if your market is more about being reactive, tell them the top 7 mistakes that they're making, so that they can identify that, oh, I am making that mistake. And then maybe they'll go and read your top 10 tips. And then the other thing, if you're up for it, is doing a video. And I love video because it helps build the rapport. Has anyone been doing videos before? If you can just say yes or no. No. Oh, that's good, Pearl. There's so many. It's such a great platform. Yes, Devon, I know you've been doing lots. It's really a very good strategy. Even if you're nervous, I would say see if you can bite the bullet. Just even if if the first few videos never see the light of day, just practice doing them around the house and you'll start to get familiar. But it's one of the easiest ways. It doesn't cost you a cent to do. All you need to do is put on a little bit of extra makeup and make sure your background is good and that you're using good lighting, and that's it. You can use the technology that's in your phone. So and I love the fact that like with this sort of powerful content, one of the biggest advantages we've got as small business operation business owners is that we can have the freedom to express our ideas and our views openly and freely. And this is actually a huge advantage because our content, it doesn't have to sound corporate-y. We can write like we speak, and that actually helps to develop more rapport than a professional stilted tone. So the more prolific you are with your content and the more you are just you and the more value that you provide, the more clients you're going to attract. So yeah, I love the fact that, and this is the 1-2 advantage that we've got over the corporate. So just creating great content and creating it often. And then not just putting it onto LinkedIn, like put it onto your website, put it everywhere. It needs to be repurposed so that you're leveraging that effort. So my old mistake, and this is a mistake I've found with a lot of people, and you guys might be on the same, particularly men for some reason. So it'll be interesting. People they want to promote their company, and they say, Bonnie, can you help me promote my company page on LinkedIn instead of my personal profile? Now, the reason behind this is that they want to hide their personal identity, but they want to promote the business instead. Now, I believe that anyone who's doing this is stunting their business growth. And it's counterintuitive, but if you want to really rapidly grow your business, your personal profile has to be built up and promoted so your prospective clients can become more familiar with you. So especially if you're the founder or you're one of the key people in the industry, you really need to bite that bullet and to say, yep, I'm going to give this a crack. So it's well known that it's a well-known fact that the companies who do have a face to their organisation get the biggest traction in their business. And if you're unsure about this, like there's people like, Janine Ellis of Boost Juice, Richard Branson, of course, Emma Isaacs of Business Chicks, Jerry Harvey's been doing it for like 20 years plus. There's Carolyn Cresswell with, Carmen Fine Foods. Naomi Simpson has done a great job of it, and so has John Simon. So that's just to name a few. There's hundreds. There's so many people who are leveraging their personal brand. And when they get out behind their desk, they end up building a great brand. So I know that when you start to share this type of content, you might be feeling a little bit nervous, even the thought of getting noticed might make you cringe. So, but the thing is, you are going to get noticed by prospective clients, by referral partners, friends, industry colleagues, and you might occasionally feel nervous about what these people think. Is that an issue for anybody on our masterclass today? Are you a bit nervous about what people are going to actually think when you put stuff out there, or when you start even commenting on other people's posts? Yeah, it is such a natural thing, and that's why so many people just don't do it, actually. And Michelle Redfern has asked me to speak in front of a stage of dozens of people in a month's time about this very thing of, we need to get these women especially out and give them the confidence and the courage to be able to become prolific in their field, so they get recognised for the value that they're putting out into the universe, and it's so that they will attract clients. So it is a huge issue, and I think the best way to overcome it, overcoming any anxiety about what your competitors or even like industry colleagues will think, is to understand that your competitors are going to become green with envy, that you've taken the leap of faith to put yourself out there. So they will be watching your videos, they'll be reading your posts, and they'll be thinking, I could have said that. And their internal issues about, why they didn't bite the bullet and just do it themselves will bug them to no end. And now some of them could retaliate. They might say things behind your back, but they usually don't have the courage or the confidence to say it on social media or to your face. So they're fighting their own limiting beliefs, and it's got nothing to do with you. So keep your eyes on the prize, and you're doing this to build your personal presence, your online positioning, so you're seen as that industry favourite. And there's so many great women and men who are already doing this. Like, we see it on the LinkedIn feed. It's really cool. So when the thought leadership content is amplified through all of the online channels, not just LinkedIn, but your website as well, it will help position you as the industry favourite. So, and this was pivotal to creating high quality leads, people who aren't price, they're not kicking around with price and all that thing. You want to create credibility so they don't ask about that sort of thing. So just to give you, back up what I've said, this is a quote by, one of the Australian LinkedIn director of marketing solutions, Matt Tyndall. He said that content marketing, it's at the heart of LinkedIn's marketing solutions strategy. So he went on to say, our goal is to develop a definitive professional publishing platform and create opportunities to drive business results by sharing relevant content with our members. And the only way to do that is through your personal profiles, because people like putting a face to the name of a company. So I hope by now that you've learnt that to be recognised as a leader within your space, you need a few key pieces of content so you can attract new clients while you sleep. Does that sound good to everyone? All right. So what we're going to do, I've just joined a gym recently, so this picture really resonated with me because I want abs like that. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I can always aim for the stars. So let me ask you a question. If you follow what I showed you in strategy 1, so optimize your profile to help you attract your ideal type of client. Then you did what I showed you in, Chris, I don't want to look like him, not those arms anyway. If I showed you what, in strategy 2, how to use Sales Navigator, building online tools using those online tools to actually reach out to prospective clients and start conversations with them. And then you use, strategy 3 to nurture those prospects with helpful content. Do you think that this could be successful in attracting a stream of clients for you? So just put it in the chat box. Do you think that would work? Yeah. Great. Yeah. So I'll share a couple of stories about how other business owners, like locals, coaches and consultants, are using LinkedIn to propel their business to the next level. So we've got Kirsty Milligan. Now, she's the image consultant, so she's actually just B2C, but it's B to executive or corporate C, So she attended a workshop last year where it was a live workshop, breakfast workshop, and she's using LinkedIn to strengthen her brand and build connections with prospective clients and strategic partners. So when Kirsty first learned about LinkedIn, she thought, salesy, spammy messages. I'm not sure if I like this, but she learned how to do it effectively through building those relationships, and now she's got a steady flow of clients. She's created great content, and I don't think you necessarily have to write your own content. You can outsource that. Like, people can interview you, get the gold coming out of your brain, and then create a great blog post. So there's different ways to skin the cat. Then we've got Gary. Now it's interesting. He's working on contracts for as a software integration consultant, but he's got a passion for helping the aged care community because they all use very bad systems, like redundant systems that don't talk to each other. And he would love to be able to pull them up into the present future, with technology. So he's using it to build connections with his target market and get referrals into his target market. So I hope this is generally coming close to the end. So I hope you haven't been is anyone feeling a bit overwhelmed with everything, or you've taken it in really well? Cool. That's really good. So what we're at the 206 mark. So if you want, I can, I've got a special offer that I've got to help create this lead generation system for you. And if you want to hear more, if you're interested to find out more, you can stay on. But if you're interested if you're not, now's a good time to leave the webinar. I haven't provided any coaching like this for a couple of years because I've been moving house, and I've been focusing more on the done for you service because I really wanted to get that nailed. But I'm really passionate. I want to help people, like the people who are working sort of like me, like small business owners, leverage LinkedIn so they start attracting great clients. And this is a coaching strategy that you can do on your own, or you can outsource it to your VA or to your assistant. So I'll continue on. And so it's a 6-week coaching program, and I've got it, it's going to be starting in May. It's going to be live, and I'll just talk to you about what each of the week covers. The first one is the plan, like I said in my framework. The second week is the positioning. The third week is the promoting. And the fourth week is propagating leads using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I'm actually going to be holding your hand going through all of that. Week 5 is how to pursue and nurture those leads into clients. So it's taking it off LinkedIn, and I'd love you to be able to have a CRM or something like that. So I want to talk to you about that in week 5. And then week 6 is we review everything and we see how you're going. I look at the scripts and the messagings, the thank you messages, the content you've created, and we wrap it up. So the whole campaign, and I'm happy to answer some questions after the call here, the webinar, but it's really good if your clients are the B2B or if you're selling to those professional executive level people. As individuals. So it's good if your lifetime product of your services is greater than 10K. If you're just selling a $500 product and you don't have anything else to sell to your target market, what I'd say is you don't do this course. You need to go back and you need to create a program that's going to cost around about the $10,000. That's going to help your clients, your target market in a much more comprehensive way, and then it becomes a good ROI. So I'm just going to be upfront with that, and that's something that we'll talk about. I'm happy to talk about this after the call, see if it's a good fit for you. Then if you want to scale your business, like with national or international markets, then this is good. So we get a lot of, obviously, software people and people who want to sell online courses. And if this is where it really works, if you're passionate about what you do and the people you serve within your market, I think that is such an important thing. So because people can feel the energy, and that's what people are riding on these days. It's like a movement happening. People know, like people who are just in it for the money can sort of sit over on that part of the world, but people who love what they do and really love serving their clients, if you're like that, then that energy is going to seep through in your LinkedIn profile and the activities that you do, and it's going to help you generate great clients. So these are the industries that it works, that I've specifically helped over the last few years. And so I know for sure that it works. So I'm happy to answer anyone's questions on that one. And then we've got, okay, so this is the coaching, it's live coaching. So I don't know if I'm going to do this again for a while. So I just wanted to put something out there. So we've got Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock starting in May, there's 5 Wednesdays in May, and then we've got the June. That's the timetable. Now, if you can't make it one of those days, then you can do it. We're going to be recording them. And there's unlimited email support through this time. So I want to be there for you to really make this work. Then we've got, so with the coaching program, it's going to be valued at around that price down the track, but I'm going to offer you as well some of these tools and templates to use. So we've got like the powerful profile pack. And this is to help you, like if this is what people look like when they're trying to write their own profile. And a lot of people procrastinate because they don't know how to position themselves on LinkedIn. They hate writing about themselves. They don't know what to say or how to say it. And it's so typical, like people can't see the value from inside themselves. So I've got a process that helps draw that information out of your head. And it's some templates that I've got, and a great questionnaire that asks really good questions, so you know exactly how to position yourself. Then we've got within that first pack, the profile pack, so you've got the expert's guide to becoming an industry favourite. We've got the questionnaire. I'm going to give you a content calendar schedule because I want you to be able to know what type of content. There's a few pieces, I've shared a few today, but there's a few great pieces of content that will strategically help to compel your target market to make inquiries with you. So you're going to get that. And you'll also have examples of insights on successful campaigns that we've run, just as a generic, the do's and the don'ts and the specific examples, so you can get some takeaways. So once you've done the program, you're going to use the templates. You're going to feel confident, like this little girl, and your prospective clients are going to be looking on you online. So you will feel good about what they see. So the typical scenario is for prospects who view your profile to make contact with you, and that'll hopefully trigger them to go to your website, which we talk about in the program, because I think that's the best thing. You want to get them off LinkedIn and over onto your territory, your website, so you can get, you know, all those things like lead capture forms and Google, you know, retargeting, all that sort of jazz. You want them to read your articles. So this is where it all starts in your profile. So then we've got the ultimate lead. This is all the bonus, the ultimate LinkedIn lead generation toolkit. So now, if you're actually getting frustrated with technology on a day-to-day basis, you might not be excited about using all these, you know, duck soup marketing automation and sales navigator. And you might be feeling like a little bit of a technophobe. So if you're like many people, the thought of using software that you're not familiar with, that's okay. It's completely natural. Before I had my own business, I used to be a teacher. I used to teach people at TAFE, like Swinburne and Holmesglen, how to use computers and Microsoft Word and Excel, and I know how to talk, you know, in layman's terms so you get it. So I'm going to help you learn all of the technology. I promise I'll be patient, and I won't speak, you know, in long words and that sort of thing when I'm describing how to use it. So that's the LinkedIn toolkit. You get the LinkedIn marketing automation guide. You'll get, and I'll give you some information on this, a link in a second. There's going to be the 8 steps to getting a 10x return on investment with Sales Navigator, because a lot of people spend, you know, that $80, $100 a month, and they end up only using a fraction of it. How to boost your personal brand by standing on the shoulders of the LinkedIn giants. So there's the whole concept of networking and aligning yourselves with great leaders is something that we'll cover with that bonus. And then the last one is the LinkedIn, the top 3 winning LinkedIn sales funnels that nurture your prospects into clients. And that's what you do with them on LinkedIn. So this is where, you know, you can attract a lot of leads, but what happens is, if you don't have a system that nurtures the leads, then you'll get, you'll end up becoming, it'll be an issue. And this is what happened to me. Like, I was on fire. Darren as well, like earlier, was on fire, great, getting the great leads, you know, following the steps that are in this framework. But then what's going to happen at the 6 month to 12 month mark of this happening full throttle is that the market has seen you, has heard you, and as they're used to seeing you. And yes, you've got that good reputation, and the word of mouth referrals are coming in frequently, but there's usually a big gaping hole in most businesses, and that's how you're going to nurture all of those people who've reached out to you and had a conversation with you, and perhaps even like got a proposal from you, but for whatever reason they went quiet. So I want you to nurture these people, otherwise they're going to forget why they reached out to you in the first place. So after watching the market and seeing offers and sequences in emails over the last few years, I've seen what actually resonates with the professional services sector here, and especially, you know, to CEOs and to business owners as a market in the professional services sector. So I want to make that easy for you. That's why I've created those funnels. So now that's the price, but you're obviously not going to be paying that. So I just wanted to show you the value. I'll talk about the price in a second. So a couple of years ago, when I last did a sort of webinar masterclass similar to this, Claire Pales went on to the course, and she was a busy mum. She had a business. She'd spent so much time trying to drum up work for her business consulting. She's a cyber security expert. She followed the framework, and she reached out to some big organisations, and she ended up getting a $75,000 contract with one of the country's most well-known software companies. So she was really relieved, obviously, you know, time and effort was well accounted for with doing the work with the LinkedIn. So, and she also now has a system that can turn on and off like a tap if she wants to create more leads, which she probably won't for a little while because she's just had another baby. So that's the beauty though. You've got freedom. You're in control. You know when you want the leads and when you don't. And this is Devang. He's got a call centre in Swanston Street, and we use the campaign exact framework on his business to create business for his create leads for his call centre. And he, within the first couple of weeks, he got a really like a 6-figure deal coming through. Like he got 3 of them, and one of them converted very, very quickly. So it was super, super happy. Actually, he said, 1 week, which is awesome. And then we've got Stephen, and he creates software for the legal industry. He's really, again, similar to a previous client where he's super keen on helping the legal industry actually use technology to become more efficient and productive. So he's got 1,000 prospects, and he liked the fact that he could become laser focused with the exact type of business that he wanted to do, the firm that he wanted to work with. So that just gives you an overview of some of the different people who've actually really benefited. And there's tens more, like dozens more, but we're getting to the end of the rail of the webinar. So now with regards to the price, I had 2 choices. I could go the cheap route and just sell it en masse, and then I could have it'd be a limited training, which there's definitely a market for that sort of thing. $97 you can buy something off the shelf, but to me it was fairly generic and half-baked, and to go with my style, I really want to help people. So I thought I'm going to do a comprehensive coaching program, and this obviously requires a slightly higher investment. So I really wanted to give the time to and the energy to people. So I'm going to offer this for $1,997, and that includes everything. So that includes the coaching that you get with me. It includes all the tools and the templates and the questionnaires, the sales funnel, everything like that. So they're all of the resources that you'll be getting throughout the 6-week period that starts in May. And with that, if you're interested, if you just want to put into a browser perfectboom.com and then /LI stands for LinkedIn coaching, you'll come up with there's a payment you can do through PayPal if you want to book your seat for that. I'm only offering it to 10 people because it's a brand new thing. I haven't done this for 2 years. I want to do it properly. I don't want too many people on it because I want to give one-on-one help. And I'm going to offer a 60-day guarantee so that if the training's not up to your expectations, you're very welcome to ask for your money back. Now, the only exception that I ask is that if you're going to do this course, I want you to actually do the activities. So if you want the guarantee, I'll obviously ask to show for you to see evidence that you've actually implemented some of the action steps. So, but I'm definitely willing to give that a go. I know you're going to get great results. So now for the fast action takers, I love people who like making a decision. So if you feel that this is a good fit, for the first 3 people who register for it, now I'm only going to give it to 10 people, to 10 participants, but the first 3 are going to get a 90-minute personal strategy session with me. It's valued at around $497 usually, and I'll know who the first 3 are because it's going to come through on my email who's bought it on that link that I just showed you before. So you can do that through credit card or through PayPal. Or if you want, you can transfer some funds. I'll give you my BSB and account details to lock it all in. So that's the end of the webinar, everyone. That's it. Does anyone have any questions? All good? If you've got any questions, that's great. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me. We've been having a little bit of problems, but hopefully the email's back. So it's bonnie@perfectboom.com is my email address. Or I'll give you my phone number if you want to give me a quick buzz. If you've got any questions about anything, that's good. The phone number is 0409 990 606. Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for your time. This is the first webinar I have done in about 3 years. So I've got a nice bottle of champagne sitting in the fridge, but I've got no one to drink it with. So I think I'm just going to pop it anyway. So celebration. Thank you for... thank you everyone for joining me, and I wish I could see your faces, and we'll see you another day maybe. Thank you. Bye.